I remember when I was really, really young, and I was going to school in what they called forced busing integration programs. And I remember hearing about black people catching sickle cell anemia, and it was very dangerous. Now, you got to remember, I'm probably 6 or 7 years old at the time. Okay, I did not have a scientific mind, and I was just thinking for a couple of days how horrible. Look at my black friends, and I go, "Oh, I hope they don't get this." And I really didn't understand it. I had just seen something on TV, and it just kind of resonated with me at my level. And eventually, I said something to my dad, and my dad said, "Son, it's nothing anyone's done wrong. It's biology." And he said that sometimes some diseases are more prone to attack certain kinds of people than others. And I still didn't fully get it at that time. I think I was about 11 or 12 years old and had some real experience in science. But I have that same feeling right now with COVID and black nose. It's tragic what's happening. And I want to take a minute to point it out, look at it, because some people want to say everything about COVID's a hoax. No, it's not. No. Are people doing ridiculous things to limit our lives and have nothing to do with COVID? Yes, every day, and very badly so, with bad effects on people. But to say that it has not killed people, and I understand comorbidity, but we'll get into that too. But some of you people are just really missing the boat, and you're so mired in a single strand of conspiracy theory, you don't even look at the extraneous variables. And we're going to look at a couple of them here tonight on the Common Sense Show. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the
Alright, Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the men who I learned this truth from, beginning with the apostles and others of great millstone. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Brakatham to the hopefully elect. And I just want to put a disclaimer first that I'm not an official member of Great Millstone. I'm not a part of any camps. But I do learn and study under the GMS doctrine. And, the Spirit told me to do these videos to feed and edify the flock of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. All right. So nevertheless, familiar face here, Dave Hodges. All right, and pretty much, he's pretty much going into, pretty much how blacks or so-called blacks and Hispanics. All right, almost 50% of COVID cases consist of so-called Negroes and Latinos. Right, out of all COVID cases. Right, which that's a damn high number. All right, but in the beginning, he was kind of going into how so-called Negroes and Latinos are pretty much more prone to certain diseases, or more certain ethnic group of people are more prone to more prone to certain diseases, right? And in a sense, what he was saying in the beginning is kind of true, because that's part of the curses that was put upon the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians. When you read the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, starting at the 15th verse and on down, all right, all the curses that would be put upon us, and a few of those curses dealing with the health state of Jake, because in our community, so-called minorities, known to catching all these diabetes and heart problems and whatnot. Again, part of the curses that befell us, and also part of that is due to the fact that Jake loves eating abominable foods, to causing all these these illnesses and diseases and whatnot. Forgive me, I'm kind of under the weather a little bit, but nevertheless, so that's what he was kind of touching on in the beginning. So I'm gonna just play some of this this video, let it play out a little bit. It brings up some good points. Skip the intro.
host of the Common and All-Purpose channel. Go to ketowithhodges.com or go to the description box and click on the link for more information. And while you're there, you're going to make a nice discovery. while supplies last, 51% off. It's quite the deal. Yeah, we are not discussing past history on this channel. End of story. So please stop mentioning it. Now, when we take a look at who's getting COVID, blacks and Latinos, 43%, being at about the same rate of the population. So it's not that this is attacking disproportionately way above the laws of chance. It's a deceptive headline by the mainstream media.
And again, because I mean, this could very well be true, when dealing with this COVID. It could very well be a fact that Jake is catching it more. Again, due to the fact that we're under the curses. So, again, these things will befall us. Or, it could be a false narrative. All right, because pretty much we know and understand that Esau, Edom, is building up his propaganda to pretty much blame everything on Jake to, paint this false narrative that Jake, all right, is the root of all these problems and all these issues. All right, so it could. It's one of those things, it could be 50-50. This could very well be true, but on the flip side, it could, just be Esau's false narrative.
But are these rates slightly elevated for blacks and Latinos? Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to be very, very clear with you on this. There is a slight elevation here. I am very, very concerned about it. A lot of us are at a loss. I've called some people today, people who should know. Do you know why these rates are a little bit elevated over the expected penetration into the population? And I heard...
And again, us understanding why they would exaggerate these numbers, because again, we don't know for a fact whether this is true or not. But we do know and understand that Esau, he has an agenda, and he's putting the propaganda out there, all right, because this whole COVID started supposedly in China. All right, this was in the beginning. This was the Chinese virus, right? And for a split second, all right, those Moabites, they were pretty much a proverb in the byword, for a split second. Everyone was looking at the so-called Chinese man. He pretty much he was the face of this whole coronavirus, but all of a sudden, again, the narrative has changed. And if you've been paying attention, all right, all these news articles, that have been coming out throughout the year, all right, the attention has been pushed towards, and I quote, blacks, Hispanics, and even some articles, they even went as far as to put Native American Indians into the mix. All right, which again, because not being ignorant of Satan's devices, 2 Corinthians 2:11, right? Esau has been pushing this narrative for some time now. So again, we're well aware of these things, and what Esau's trying to do.
Things like, well, more people who are black and Latino live in urban areas where there's more condensed population with less social distancing. That does actually make some sense. I don't know if it holds weight scientifically. Haven't seen any research there. The other thing is it could be tied to blood types. And do blood types favor certain races? I'm not an epidemiologist. You know what? That's one area of science I am totally ignorant on, and I don't know. And I thought about that right before we came on air. I have no idea if that's true. But when we see a 5% greater rate or so than would be expected, I think it's incumbent upon our society to look at why. And I'm calling on the CDC. Do your due diligence. Is this an area for concern? If it's not, tell the mainstream media to stop fabricating headlines and issue a statement. If it is something to be concerned about, please do your due diligence so we can help these people not have excessive rates. Is that very hard to understand? It's absolutely ridiculous here the way we handle this. Came out of CNN, by the way, and I don't have a love affair with CNN by any means. So if this is indeed true, we need to move to correct it and find out what's causing this. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
And that's the thing, they're not going to correct it, because again, Esau's trying to build his case to come against the Israelites. All right. It's like I said, man, very soon, and this is right around the corner, the Hebrew Israelites, they're going to be deemed domestic terrorists. All right, and they're going to paint them as the face, or excuse me, they're going to paint us as the face of the problem to everything that's been going wrong is going to be blamed on the Israelites. All right. But nevertheless, all right, because also another one of Esau's tools and tactics that he uses is pushing fear. All right. And, because when pretty much people, when they're backed into a corner, and, when people are overrun with fear, they tend to not make decisions that are not in their best of interest. All right. So again, being that we're coming into the winter seasons, right, or the winter season, the cold weather's coming in. It's it's the flu season now, and mixture of the COVID-19 and all these other diseases that they've been saying are coming out now, and new waves, and all these things that they've been pushing out there, right? And again, throughout the year, the talk has been so-called blacks, Hispanics, and even in some cases they added Native American Indians into the mix. All right, you got the Bill and Melinda Gates from hell, talking about how they need to they want to how they want to test so-called blacks, Hispanics, get them vaccinated first, because again, they're putting the narrative that we're more prone to catching this disease, right? They're going out there to the west parts of Africa, where a lot of Jake, when they fled the Roman persecution, all right, a lot of those Jakes, they fled to the northern and western parts of Africa, and that's where they went out there to, test this whole COVID vaccine. But nevertheless, all right, they're pushing fear into the society, all right, and pretty much what I want to touch on in this video is, because all these things, they're going to use to their advantage. All right. They're going to get a lot of you jakes trapped up, take a lot of you jakes in great number. All right. Because, jakes are too simple to realize the enemy when he's in front of you, still trying to make, be all buddy with these people. Right. Still crying out for help from your oppressors, and all the other stuff. But nevertheless, Esau, man, he's setting you jakes up, man. All right. All these Black Lives Matter movement, and all this other nonsense. It's going to get a lot of you jakes set up for the kill, because Esau, he's that, he's a cunning hunter. All right. He's smooth with his words, smooth like butter. All right. He's that charm, that sweet charmer. All right. So, just wanted to get into a few precepts. Slakia. These allergies are killing me. So I got a few precepts lined up here. Go to Proverbs 29 and starting at verse 25. Proverbs 29 and 25. It says, "The fear of man bringeth a snare, But whoso putteth his trust in Yahweh shall be saved. Because again, all right, when people are put in a situation, when people are overrun with fear, like I said, they tend to make decisions that are not in their best of interest. All right, and on a deeper scale, they just don't. This is a society where, um, the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is obsolete. All right, it doesn't exist except for within the, the, uh, the body, the men that the Lord is dealing with, the elect in the 1/3. All right, which they're going to be the only ones to not take that vaccination. All right. But again, this is how Esau eat them, because the devil doesn't play fair. He's going to he's going to push all this fear into the public and feed off that fear, because again, Jake, you know, um, Jake, man, they're they're just going to fall for that trap. They're going to fall for the snare, because Esau, scriptures go into how he's that that fowler, right? Which is someone that um you know uh um catches I'm saying that right, that the fowler, someone that catches birds, you know um and that's what that's who Esau is. All right. So we read on in verse 26. It says, many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from Yahweh. Yeah, because ultimately, um there's been articles that go into how, or there's been some information that's come out dealing with side effects of taking that vaccination, right? And ultimately, because more than likely, if you take the vaccination, you're going to take the chip. All right. um and but ultimately, if you take that vaccine, if you take that chip, all right, ultimately, you know I mean, it was set up that way because the Lord's pretty much rejected you. All right. You're just simply, you're not one of the chosen. So ultimately, the Lord is not dealing with you. Because like I said, only the 1/3, the elect in the 1/3, they're going to be the only ones to not take the vaccine. They're going to be the only ones to not take the chip. All right, which that's been in the talk lately. All right, microchip. All right, so these things are coming to it's coming to life. All right. It says verse 27, and a just man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Right. Because again, Esau's narrative, all right, because what's also been in the talk is anti-vaxxers, all right, so-called quote-unquote conspiracy theorists, which that's more so aimed at the prophets, all right, because the prophets, they speak against these things. All right, anything that Esau promotes, all right, is nothing good comes from it. All right, everything that Yahweh Bashem Shai is against, Esau promotes it in the society as righteousness. All right. And this is why, again, Esau's building up his propaganda. All right. Anyone speaking up against vaccines and speaking against the microchip, anyone that's against the New World Order and, all these other things. All right. They're pretty much going to be deemed terrorists. All right. And again, this is the narrative that Esau Edom's pushing out. And, like I said, more so the prophets, they're speaking against this whole setup, Esau Edom's whole New World Order agenda, this whole beast system. The prophets are speaking out against it. So this is why, I'm going to read verse 27 again. It says, and then the just man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. So, this is why you're going to have this back and forth, right? This battle between good and evil, all right? And, again, on a larger scale, that's just how it was set up, all right? The great battle between Jacob and Esau, all right? The great battle, the final battle, all right, it's about to take place, and we're going to be allowed to see it, all right? From there, I'm going to go to Psalms 19 and 110. It says, the wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I erred not from thy precepts. Because again, the wicked, Esau, Edom, all right, that fowler, all right, one who sets traps, right, setting all these traps up, setting Jacob to be taken and ultimately be destroyed. But those are the house of David, all right, the elect, the 1/3, all right. We're sticking to these precepts. All right, we're sticking to the laws and ordinances of Yahweh Shem Shai, no matter what Esau, Edom, no matter what he sets up, no matter how he, no matter what tools that he throws at us. All right. When it comes to the house of David, the elect, all right, they're going to stick to the words of Yahweh Shem Shai. They're going to fear Yahweh Shem Shai more than they fear this man, because again, this guy, these people, they're nothing but a pawn for Yahweh Shem Shai on the left hand. So we just talk about not fearing, pretty much not fearing someone that can destroy the body, just the body. In other words, he can't do nothing to you. You fear the one that can, destroy his body and his soul. One of the things that's often talked about is how, when those nuclear missiles are dropped, because a lot of people, when all hell breaks loose out here, man, a lot of people are going to be seeking the easy way out, and it's not going down like that. All right. And that's, this is the power that we fear, or this is the power that you should fear. All right. Because you might, suffer a horrific accident. You might lose your limbs, all your limbs, right? And then, the Lord can leave your spirit in your body to where you you live through just such pain and such agony that something, things that we can't fathom, right? And again, like the nuclear missiles when they are dropped on this place, all right? Again, even with that, it's nothing for Yahweh Shem Shai to leave your spirit in your body when those ICBM missiles are blowing this place up. You get hit with that fervent heat. The Lord can leave your spirit in your body. That's the power that you want to fear. All right, not some man. All right, who afterwards, once you die, he can't do nothing. All right, when they die, who do you think they report to? All right, they gotta appear before the Allah Shaja. All right, the demon like the terrible power, the so-called black man. They gotta appear before his throne. So who are these people? Because again, we don't fear these people, man. Let them do what they gotta do. All right. Because again, the elect, man, those are the faith. They're going to stick to this word, these precepts. That's why it's important to be building yourself up while you can, and while this information is readily accessible. Because I'm telling you, man, they're getting ready to shut this internet down. I just did a video going into the strike that I got on my channel, and it caught me by surprise because I'm not, I'm not some. I'm not a brother with a big following or anything, but here it is. They, took one of my videos down. They didn't, without warning or anything, So the famine of the word is definitely right around the corner. All right. Go ahead and get the next precept. In Psalm 69 and 22, it says, "Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap." Yeah, because again, yeah, man, Esau Edom, man, he's about to get a lot of you jakes, man. He's gonna set you up for the kill. All right, they might offer you, a stimulus check. Get vaccinated. We'll give you $1,200. We'll give you $6,000 per adult, and $1,200 per child. Esau, man, they can come many ways with this. All right, and though you may think it might be for your good, it's going to be to your detriment. All right, because these same people that issue the they that create these vaccines, right? These are the same people that believe that the world is overpopulated. All right, and these are the same people that believe in depopulation, and one of those ways to bring down the numbers is through vaccinations. This is the same people that are talking, that are saying that so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, all right, they need to be tested first. Let them get tested first. All right, because I read pretty much the same thing, going into how so-called blacks and Hispanics, they're more prone and more likely to get this COVID. I believe it was on RT. There was a video on RT that they did dealing with it. All right, and there's a number of articles. All right, because like I said, out of nowhere, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians became the new face of this deadly pandemic, so they say. So again, Esau Edom, he's pushing the narrative. All right, that black people, Hispanics, all right, vaccinations. We need to get vaccinated. We need to test these people first. Test the minorities first. They're gonna throw all type of benefits your way, give you all type of little goodies, and Jake's gonna fall for it. $25 at a Red Lobster. A $25 gift card for Red Lobster. All type of stuff, and Jake's gonna fall for it, man, because Jake is docile, and ultimately, boys not of faith. They don't put their trust in Yahweh Shem Shai. So this is why, again, like I said, ultimately it was set up that way because Yahweh Shem Shai, he just rejected you on his side. You're not a part of the first fruits on his side. So again, a lot of jakes are going to be taken in a great number, right? Get this second Ezra, the 16th chapter, jump down to verse 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you." All right, because Trump earlier in this year talked about the military being on standby. Now he's talking about these proud boys, these proud boys, whatever, telling them to stand by, stand back, stand by, right? This man has a militia group on his side, because they're gonna be taking Jake's out as well. I see people on Facebook. They're taking pictures, talking about getting vaccinated, and then they take a picture, them waiting in these long lines. I said, Jake is just being led to the slaughter, man. That's exactly what's going down. Jake is being led to the slaughter. All right, Esau Edom is setting up the snare, setting up the trap for a lot of you Jakes to be destroyed. And because again, you take that vaccination, more than likely you're gonna take that chip. And just put myself out there, because my woman, because she knows the deal, dealing with the vaccines and the RFID chip and the mark of the beast. She knows the deal, but nevertheless, I think she's going to take the vaccination, and more than likely, she's going to take the chip. And even more so, I think she's gonna go behind my back, and end up, vaccinating the kids and microchipping the kids and whatnot, because she already knows my stance on it. So, well, whatever the case may be, so be it. Um, but hey, man, Jake, man, they're being set up, man. Jake is being led to the slaughter. All right. It says, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And the ultimate form, all right, those via those chips, all right, those microchips, all right. Because again, now they're talking about rounding up anti-vaxxers and people that don't want to get vaccinated. They're going to haul them off to these concentration camps, which of course they're not going to. That's not what they're calling it, but that's what it is. All right. Canada just did a video going into Canada and how they got caught building secret quarantine centers and whatnot. I mean, they're already spread out throughout America. All right. Via your shelters and all these other, see these certain businesses are being shut down, and all this stuff is going to be turned into concentration camps. All right. And they're going to be rounding Jake up, all right, to get vaccinated, and even more so get chipped, all right, and because of the fear of these Jakes, and not putting their fear and trust in Yahweh Bashim El Shai, all right, a lot of them, they're gonna willingly be offered up with these abominations, because that's all that's in these vaccines is nothing but abominations. All right. Because most of these sicknesses and diseases, a lot of them, they come from animals. So, in a lot of these vaccinations, they abstract certain, DNA and tissue and blood and whatnot from these different animals. It's those vaccinations, man. It's not but a concoction of just all manner of abominations. All right. They abstract, what do you call it? Because they said, I saw some not too long ago, something about how they need sharks. They need more sharks. Which sharks, all right, that's an abomination. That's an abominable creature. All right, that's an unclean beast. All right. So what is all these things? They're putting all these things in these vaccinations, right? Aborted fecal baby, aborted babies, right? Monkey tissue and all this other stuff that shouldn't be inserted into the body. And again, ultimately, the ultimate form is going to be via those chips, because ultimately, once they round people up, forcing them to get those chips. All right, but nevertheless, well, I read on down. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in the reproach and trodden underfoot. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, because ultimately, again, Esau's painting the picture to come against Jake, but more so the prophets, the men of the Lord. All right, but in that time, all right, it says, and this great insurrection, this is what's being prepared. This is the propaganda that they're putting out, they're pushing out. They're gearing up for. All right, the great insurrection. All right, martial law and all these other things, famine of the word. All right. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Yeah, they're gonna be kicking in our doors and stuff, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, rounding us up. All right. Because I forgot who it was that said it, but someone has said that this is going to be the coldest winter, man. This is going to be the darkest winter, and Jake, they don't like the cold, so scriptures say pray not that your flight be in the winter, All right. Because if that happens, if this insurrection happens in the winter, which again we're coming into, all right, Jake, man, they, it's bad enough they don't like the cold as it is. So if they do these things and if all hell breaks loose in the winter, man, Jake, man, it's harder to do everything in the winter. Everything sucks. Everything is miserable, during the winter time. So if it goes down during the winter, man, Jake's gonna be more susceptible to these things and just willingly offer themselves up unto these abominations, to these idols, all right, to these devils. All right, but again, concerning the elect and the 1/3, all right, reading on down, it says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried and as the gold in the fire." All right, because again, in during that time, it's going to be made known who the Lord is dealing with. All right, because again, when it comes to the elect, they're not going to take those vaccinations and they're not going to take that chip ultimately. All right, so just something real quick to touch on. These prophecies, man, they're jumping off the book, man, and if you have this understanding, man, call Lord Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, and because this is something that the world can't receive, even though it's clear as day, the world, they can't receive it, but we have this, we have this truth, man. We have something that this world doesn't have, man. And Lord's will we be of that number. Lord's will, the blessing of election be upon you and your household, man, because hey, man, this thing is about to come to pass, man, and this is the last hoorah until the kingdom come. So go ahead and end it off there, giving all credit to Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. Double honors to my teachers, starting with the apostles and elders and all the men on down of Great Millstone. Respectfully, Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, Barakatham to the hopeful elect. Until next time, Shalom.